In Maharashtra's Sangli district, in the village of Mahaz, two brothers from the Wanmore family lived with their families in two separate homes about 1.5 kilometers apart. The Wanmore family used to buy milk daily from a family in the village, and someone from the Wanmore family would go every morning to collect it. However, on Monday morning, June 20th, 2022, no one from the Wanmore family went to get milk, nor did anyone open the doors of their home. In fact, all their phones were either switched off or unreachable. A girl from the milk-selling family went to deliver the milk to Papat Wanmore's house. As soon as she entered the house, she was horrified and started trembling with fear. She screamed and ran out of the house, as all the members of the family were lying dead. Among them were 54-year-old Papat Wanmore, his 48-year-old wife Sanjita Papat Wanmore, and their 30-year-old daughter Archana Papat Wanmore. News of the deaths of these three members of the Wanmore family spread like wildfire throughout the village. Since Papat Wanmore's younger brother, Dr. Manik Wanmore, also lived in the same village with his family, the villagers quickly rushed to inform him of the tragedy. However, upon reaching Dr. Manik Wanmore's house, they were met with another heartbreaking scene just like Papat's family. All the members of Dr. Manik Wanmore's family were also found dead. These included his 45-year-old wife Rika Wanmore, their 28-year-old nephew Shubham Wanmore, their 28-year-old daughter Anita Manik Wanmore, their 15-year-old son Aditya Wanmore, and their 72-year-old elderly mother Akatai Wanmore. There were no signs of bloodshed or a struggle around the bodies. The Sangli police were immediately informed, and upon hearing about the deaths of 9 people at once, they rushed to the scene. The police inspected both houses and carefully examined the bodies before sending them for postmortem. Like the villagers, the police initially suspected that this was a case of mass suicide. 2 significant pieces of evidence pointed in that direction: a suicide note and a vial of poison. The note mentioned the names of several people from whom the Wanmore family had borrowed large sums of money. This raised the suspicion that these people might have pressured the Wanmore brothers to the point that they decided to end their lives along with their families. The police began investigating further and questioned the individuals named in the note. It was revealed that the Wanmore family had indeed taken large loans from these people. However, the question remained, why did the Wanmore family need so much money, especially when both brothers were employed, and the eldest daughter of the family worked at a bank? The police couldn't find a reason for such huge loans until another story surfaced during the investigation, involving something called rice puller metal. The Wanmore brothers were known to talk to villagers about a mysterious metal that could supposedly attract grains of rice. The rice puller metal deal was in process, and once the deal was finalized, they would receive zillions and crores from a foreign company. To complete this deal, they claimed to need millions of rupees, and for this reason, the Wanmore family continued borrowing large sums from people. But what was the truth behind this deal? And who was the mastermind behind it? We'll tell you that later, but first, it's essential to understand what this rice puller metal is. In reality, the story of becoming rich overnight through rice puller metal is nothing but a lie. The Wanmore brothers also got trapped in this fabricated story. In fact, in our country, there are many con artists who, by telling people the story of rice puller metal, swindle them out of millions. These con men claim that rice puller metal consists of archaeological artifacts, coins, or utensils with a special kind of energy. This energy supposedly attracts even companies like NASA to buy these metals for billions of rupees. To demonstrate the magnetic power of these metals, they often stage a show of placing rice grains in front of them, pretending that the grains are drawn towards the metal. Through this deception, they rob people of millions. The Wanmore family also got trapped by such a con and sank into debt. Eventually, the police began investigating the people associated with the Wanmore family and tried to find out who had lured them into the rice puller scam. Before this incident, who had the family met? The police conducted a meticulous investigation of the crime scene and noticed many things that raised suspicions. They started suspecting this was not a case of suicide, but possibly murder. The police began to believe that a deep conspiracy might be behind it, as one brother was a doctor, the other was a teacher, and the family's daughter worked at a bank. How could such an educated family commit mass suicide? Furthermore, it didn't make sense that the entire family would kill themselves across 2 different houses. This puzzled the neighbors and relatives, as well as the police. Although the police had already arrested 19 people for inciting the Wanmore family to suicide, they also began investigating the murder theory. As the investigation progressed, a shocking story of murder emerged, involving the deaths of 9 people. Some neighbors had told the police that both Wanmore brothers often talked about hidden treasure. Even though they were educated, their talk of such things puzzled the neighbors. These statements made the police suspect that this was all a web of occult practices. The police had suspicions, but no solid clues until a small bottle of poison was found near one of the bodies. Additionally, after examining the suicide notes, the police found something fishy because typically, a person first writes the reason for their suicide and then blames people. But in this case, some names were mentioned right at the start, with no mention of the family's intent to commit suicide. This led the police to believe that someone had misled the brothers into naming the moneylenders, making it look like a suicide. The police then decided to investigate the brothers past Dr. Manik Wanmore and Popat Wanmore. What was their lifestyle like? Who were their friends? And who were their enemies? The police began to gather information about their social circles. They also decided to scan all CCTV cameras in the area. While going through the footage, the police spotted a car near Dr. Manik Wanmore's house. Although several other cars appeared in the footage, something about the speed and movement of this particular vehicle raised suspicion. Upon further investigation, the car's last known location was found to be in Solapur. It belonged to a man named Abbas Ali Bagwan, around 48 years old. But the big question was, what was Abbas Ali Bagwan's connection to the Wanmore family? Through questioning neighbors, it became clear that the Wanmore family was caught up in tales of hidden treasure and rice puller metal, and they had mentioned several times to creditors that they were about to receive a large sum of money to repay their debts. The police were further alarmed when they discovered that Abbas Ali Bagwan was a tantric and occult practitioner. They now believed there was some connection between the tantric and the Wanmore family. So, the police began examining the brothers' old call records. Among many contacts, one number seemed highly suspicious, and it turned out to belong to Abbas Ali Bagwan. Now the police had 2 pieces of evidence: Abbas's car seen near the house and his phone number found in the brothers' call records, indicating long conversations. These 2 pieces of evidence were enough for the police to arrest Abbas and his driver Dheeraj Chandrakant. Dheeraj, 28, was more than just a driver. He was Abbas's accomplice in the occult. Because the case now involved murder, the police charged them under Section 302 of the Indian Penal Code. But the question remained, why did Abbas and Dheeraj murder the Wanmore family? What role did the occult play? And what was the family's relationship with the tantric? During interrogation, it was revealed that the Wanmore family initially wanted to set up a steel plant, for which they borrowed money from various moneylenders. While this was ongoing, the family got entangled in occult practices. Tantrics like Abbas study their targets before trapping them, and those who are not greedy or do not believe in such practices do not fall into their trap. Abbas's associates in the Sangli area had been searching for such targets, and when they learned that the Wanmore brothers needed money and believed in the occult, Abbas set his trap. According to Ig Lohia, Abbas told the brothers that there was hidden treasure in their house, but that it could only be retrieved through occult rituals. Over time, Abbas and Dheeraj swindled nearly 1.10 crore rupees from the Wanmore family. However, when no treasure was found after several months, the brothers became suspicious and began pressuring Abbas to return their money. Not wanting to repay, Abbas and Dheeraj devised a plan to eliminate the entire family. On the night of June 19th, Abbas and Dheeraj arrived at Dr. Manik Wanmore's house, claiming it was the last opportunity to retrieve the treasure. They began performing rituals and sent the entire family to the roof. One by one, they called each member down, offering them poison tea that wouldn't take effect immediately. As each family member drank the tea and went unconscious, Abbas and Dheeraj quietly left. This was how Abbas Ali Bagwan and Dheeraj Chandrakant murdered the entire Wanmore family to avoid repaying the money they owed. Based on their confessions and evidence, the police prepared a charge sheet and presented them in court, where they were sent to jail. Friends, the purpose of sharing this incident is not to upset anyone but to raise awareness and keep you informed. What are your thoughts on this incident? Let us know in the comment box, and if you appreciated our effort, please like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Thank you.